like to call the meeting to order if I could. All rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good and gracious God, thank you for this evening. Please allow us to conduct your business in the best way possible and allow us to work through all of our dilemmas and come up with solutions. Amen.
Amen.
Can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Leitner? Here. Commissioner Walls? Here. Commissioner Rice?
Here.
Commissioner Duckham?
Here.
Commissioner Tompkins?
Here.
Commissioner Mahoney?
Present.
Commissioner Williams?
Present.
Commissioner Elwell?
Here.
Chairman Shotwell?
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion and support. Any items for removal? Corrections? Any additions? Seeing nor hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Same sign. Duly carried. We have no awards or recognitions this evening. Any communications or petitions to be presented to the board? Hearing none. We have no special orders nor public hearings. We've arrived at the first opportunity for public comment. Each individual will state their name, and you have 3 minutes to address the board. You may only address the board once under this public comment opportunity and may not yield your time to others. Board members will not debate or answer questions at this time. Any public comment?
Good evening, John Wilson, City of Jackson resident. It's a 100% certainty that this board tonight will approve both the county parks and animal control millages to be placed on the August ballot. On the county parks millage, at the March study session, County Parks Director Jeff Holvarter, who doesn't even live who doesn't even own a home in the county, gave his presentation as to why parks millage is needed. He mentioned the Falling Waters Trail and a new dog park at the Cascades possibly. But what Mr. Holvarter didn't mention was whether or not any new tax dollars from a park millage would be spent on the fairground's new $7 million convention center, renovating the animal barns, or any other fairground improvements. Can Parks Board members Shotwell or Williams say if any Parks millage money, if passed, would be spent at the fairgrounds? Also, since a portion of a millage can be spent on the City of Jackson Downtown Development Authority and the Blackman Township Local Development Finance Authority, can DDA member Shotwell say how much of the Parks and Animal millage will be spent on Jackson's downtown? And can Blackman Township Local Development Finance Authority member Dave Elwell say how much of the Parks and Animal Control millage will be spent on Blackman Township's new downtown center or its new industrial park? Well, many of you on this board voted to place one millage request after another on a May or August ballot, including Commissioner Elwell. There are many homeowners who can no longer afford to pay any more new taxes. Please think about them. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Public comment is now closed. Oh, do we have more? Good evening.
Good evening, Peter Bormuth. I wanted to address Dr. Tompkins' comments at the last study session when there was a presentation by Sam Bernstein about the opioid litigation. I want to point out that it's not because there are kids who are bullied or kids who are insecure or kids who smoke marijuana that we have a heroin crisis. We have a heroin crisis because 8 out of 10 heroin addicts became addicted to pharmaceutical opioids. It's your industry, sir, that is responsible for this epidemic. It's the pharmaceutical companies, the distributors, the representatives that go around to the doctors and sell the pills or push them. It's the doctors who prescribe them and the pharmacists who give them out. That's why we have an opioid crisis. And Chairman Shotwell said in the newspaper that it's not the Republican way to blame big business for people's mistakes. Apparently it is the Republican way to ignore the fact that big business caused those mistakes. Likewise, it's the Republican way to ignore that Enbridge is running Line 5 under the Straits of Mackinac and may destroy our fresh water, that is the people's. Likewise, Donald Trump says to deal with the heroin dealers, we should use the death penalty. What about the death penalty for the pharmaceutical company heads who created this epidemic? It seems to be the Republican position that government should not interfere with industry in any way, that they should be allowed to make as much money as possible, but that government should be used to oppress the people in every way. What's the Republican answer for the gun problem, our shooting in schools? Well, they want to create a larger police state, put a sheriff in every school, I want to say that you're creating a reality that I don't believe in, and that I don't think is positive for the people of this nation. And I want to say that I'm ashamed that this board isn't joining in the opioid litigation, because injunctive relief from courts can change things. For instance, should the Supreme Court
30 seconds.
decide to take my case against you, injunctive release could end the unconstitutional prayer practice. Injunctive relief from the federal judge down in Cleveland could help end the opioid epidemic. Sure, there's still casualties who need treatment, but it could end new people becoming addicted. Thank you for your time.
Any other public comment?
Good evening, Tony Bear. I don't like to blame businesses for what other people stupidly and illegally do. I see no point in suing the drug manufacturers, that business, other than somebody thinks they have deep pockets and therefore we are entitled to take their money. Doctors don't make drug addicts. People on their own make a very foolish decision to seek out a criminal, because it's a crime to sell heroin. So if someone is foolish enough that they embark on their own foolish objectives, seek out a criminal, commit another criminal act by buying the drugs, commit another criminal act by using the drugs, I don't see how the drug manufacturers or the medical doctors are to blame for that. People's foolish, illegal activities, the burden of that belongs right on them and on nobody else. And just because drug manufacturers maybe make profits, or they need to make profits so they can develop better drugs, they need to make better drugs that work and aren't as addictive, so they need those profits to do their further research. And personally, I don't have much sympathy for people that embark on foolish courses of action and then engage in criminal activity.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Public comment is now closed. We have no special meetings of standing committees. Approval of the minutes of the March 20th, 2018 meeting.
So moved. Support.
We have a motion and support. Any corrections, deletions, or additions? Seeing nor hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. The minutes have carried. We've arrived at the consent agenda. Entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion and we have support. Any items for removal? Seeing nor hearing none, Madam Clerk, could you post?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I'm a yes. Or it came up. It's working. The consent agenda has passed unanimously. We've now arrived at the standing committee reports. First standing committee is Agencies and Affairs, chaired by Vice Chairman David Elwell. David?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have several items of business tonight. First up are appointments. First board we have appointments to is the Joint Airport Zoning Board. 3 positions, 3 applicants, and 3 recommendations from committee. If there are no nominations from the floor, I'll move all 3 of the recommendations at once, which are John Warden, Jack Cook, and Thomas Schaffner.
We have a motion and support. Are there any nominations from the floor? Seeing nor hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Duly carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next, we have the Region 2 Area Agency on Aging. Again, 3 open slots. In this case, we have 4 applicants, so I'll take them one at a time. The first slot is that of Howard Griffiths, and the recommendations from committee for these 3 slots are Matt Dame, Megan Kaiser, and Stephen Reiger.
Support.
And remember, we're filling 1 slot at a time, so we'd be looking for 1 nomination. And I would nominate Matt Dame.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Duly carried. Commissioner Elwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Second recommendation from committee for the second slot is Megan Kaiser.
Any nominations from the floor? Hearing none, could I have a second for Megan Kaiser, please?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, duly carried. Commissioner Elwell.
The last seat recommendation from committee is Stephen Reiger, who I recommend.
We have a motion and support. We hear no nominations from the floor. None at this time. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Commissioner Elwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This last one is something that did not come through committee. It's the Community Corrections Advisory Board. Delane and I and Mike had emails back and forth. These are designated seats by the court. We have a meeting scheduled next week, so I approved with Delane putting it on the agenda. And again, they're designated seats by the court. And I would move both Judge Daniel Goostrey and Judge Susan Jordan.
Support.
We have a motion and support, and since this is just a confirmation,
Correct.
all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Duly carried. Commissioner Elwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next is the parks placement of a county parks millage request on the 2018 election ballot, and I would like to exercise the option of separating the 2 issues, which are the placement on the ballot and when the election would be. And I'm first moving the issue of the placement of the parks millage itself, absent the date, and then we'll vote on the date of the election following that. So I still move the millage issue itself.
We have a motion and support for there to be a millage issue going forward. Any questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried. Point of order, County Administrator. Do you need a roll call vote for that issue? I'm going to go back and post the vote. Everyone can vote, please.
It hasn't popped up for me. There it is.
I'm a yes. 9-0. The Parks millage itself has passed 9-0. The chairman will take note and place the question of the date of the Parks millage to appear on the August ballot. Do I have support? We have a motion and support. Any questions or comments?
Roll call again, Mr. Chair.
No problem? Microphone, that would be helpful.
So the motion as written is approve the placement of a 10-year millage request to appear on the August 7th, 2018 election ballot.
Everyone can vote? Rodney did. Passed 6-3. Commissioner Alwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next up, we have the issue for JCDOT of the ground penetrating radar system. This was an issue forwarded from committee, and there's been a slight change to it. Mike, if you want to address it, or Chris, briefly, either one. What the change
Sure, I
is?
think I got it. If Chris, if I need you, you can chime in, I guess. We removed this from consent, frankly, because we found a machine that is used. It has all the bells and whistles. Some of the whistles we weren't really willing to pay for, so it's kind of nice that we found this. It has 11,000 miles on it, and JDOT supports it and believes it's the machine we really need. There's a couple little minor things that we're going to have to add, but by and large, by far, a much better buy and value for the county.
Mike, the price difference, or if Chris knows, versus,
It was $170, Chris?
Yes, 174, I believe.
versus the 190 that we had seen at committee?
Right. This is fully loaded with LiDAR, digital cameras, accelerometer, some more
Bells and
comprehensive.
whistles.
Yes, all the bells and whistles.
I will so move that request.
Support.
We have a motion and support. I have a question for Christopher. With the part of getting the new vehicles that we got was the fact that we were able to be aware of the maintenance and everything on the vehicles through MDOT. Will we have the maintenance log for this past 11,000 miles for this vehicle
We
given
will.
to us?
Yes,
Thank you.
we will.
And if I can point out one more thing, the agenda has the amount of 190. It says cost not to exceed, which it won't, but the amount we're talking about is approximately 170,000.
Right, if we
Okay.
can still acquire that vehicle, correct. I hope so.
Passed unanimously.
One more issue, Mr. Chair.
sir.
It's also JCDOT. It's an issue that we approved at committee for triaxle tractors, and it's been revised to be tandem axle tractors, which I assume is a cost savings. Is that accurate, Chris? And this amount is how much versus for the triaxle, if you have that?
These are $400,068 for three tandem axle tractors versus equivalently equipped triaxles would have been about $18,000 more.
Okay, I will so move this request.
We have a motion?
Support.
We have a support. Any further questions? vote is posted in front of you. Vote is unanimous. Commissioner Elwell?
That's all I have to report, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Standing Committee Human Services, chaired by Commissioner Rice. Commissioner Rice?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Human Services has no business to come before the board tonight.
Thank you. Standing Committee Personnel and Finance, chaired by Commissioner Duckham. Commissioner Duckham?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have no business to be conducted tonight.
Thank you. Unfinished business. Any unfinished business to come before the board? Seeing nor hearing none, we're moving on to new business. We have Corrections Officers Tentative Economic Agreement. Entertain a motion? We have a motion and support. Do you need to speak to this, Mr. Administrator? No. You post the vote, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Passed unanimously. The next item to come before the board is the POAM tentative agreement with the 911 dispatchers and the economic agreement. Entertain a motion? We have a motion and support. Any questions? Seeing nor hearing none, could you please post the vote?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. That passed unanimously. Question of the administrator before we go on. This now makes all of our agreements complete. We have all of our negotiations complete at this time.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
All 11 unions have
All 11 units.
negotiated contract.
Thank you. We've arrived at public comment. Public comment guidelines. The individual will state their name. You have 2 minutes to address the board, and you may only address the board under public comment this opportunity once. You may not yield your time to others, and board members will not debate nor answer questions at this time.
Did we approve the millage for the, we did? We missed it?
It was consent, yeah.
Okay, didn't know. Didn't know. All right, so we're good. And we're good for August? Didn't know. We missed it. Okay, thank you. We didn't know. We got it. It's good. We're good. We're good. Thank you. We were gonna cheer and do a little hoopla, but we missed it.
John Wilson. No cheer here. No discussion regarding the Parks vote. So I guess maybe Taylor or Brad Flory, our veteran reporter, can maybe ask the questions to each commissioner who may be willing to answer if any of the money from the millage, it passed, will be spent on the Jackson DDA or Mr. Elwell's development authority over there in Blackman Township. Sheriff Rand, a couple months ago, you passed unanimous a resolution demanding that Sheriff Rand resign. We have Ms. Leitner, Commissioner Rice, Commissioner Duckham. Not sure about you, Mr. Tompkins. Commissioner Williams and Commissioner Elwell, all long-standing members of the Jackson County Republican Party and very involved with it. I'm pretty sure maybe some of you are executive members. Why haven't any of you, I'm sorry, I missed you. Why haven't any of you requested from the Jackson County Republican Party that they discuss, debate, and maybe pass a resolution requesting Sheriff Rand's resignation? You did it here. Why not do it as good Republicans at the Jackson County Republican Party. I'm sure Phil will bring it up at the next Thursday night Jackson County Republican Party, of which I am not a member of. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Seeing nor hearing none, commissioner comments? Commissioner Duckham.
Just for the record, so everybody knows, and my view on these millage requests, I look at them, I deem, which is my job, if they're worthwhile for the residents of Jackson County. I may not support them, but I move forward the right of the citizens to exercise their right to vote and let them choose if it's worthwhile to them. And I don't necessarily support, I support moving it forward. I don't know if I'll vote yes or no on the millage request yet or not. It depends on what I learn through the campaigns that they will run to promote their millage or discourage their millage. But I wish to move the issue forward so the people, you guys out there, you make up the mind. You make up the mind how you want your tax dollars spent. And there's nothing spent yet, because we haven't even got the money yet. So get out and vote and help us decide. Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? Seeing nor hearing none, I would like to entertain a motion in accordance with MCL 15268, discussion regarding pending litigation with the Jackson County Circuit Court, case number 15-2798CK, United States District Court, case number 2:18-CV-10047, MLJ SDD. We have a motion and support. Would you mind posting the vote? The decision. Also adjourned now. Yes. Passed unanimously.